Alright, let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately. The rise of quirky sci-fi comedies, and why they are so darn addictive. You know, I've been diving into Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, the latest spin-off from The Big Bang Theory, and it got me thinking, why do we love these shows so much? Personally, I think it's because they take the vast, mind-bending concepts of sci-fi and make them relatable, funny, and just plain fun. But here's the thing, Stuart isn't alone in this genre. There's a whole universe of shows out there doing the same thing, and I'm here to break it down for you. First off, let's talk about Sliders. If you've never seen it, it's this 90s gem about a group of friends hopping through parallel universes. What makes this really interesting is how it balances the wonder of exploring alternate realities with a grounded, almost nostalgic vibe. Jerry O'Connell's performance as Quinn Mallory is so earnest, it's like he's the audience's stand-in, wide-eyed and curious. But here's the kicker, the show's low-budget effects actually add to its charm. It reminds me that sci-fi doesn't need $1 billion to feel epic. It's about the ideas, the characters, and the what-ifs. Now, let's pivot to Eureka. This show flips the script by making the protagonist, Sheriff Jack Carter, the normal guy in a town of geniuses. What many people don't realize is how clever this setup is. It's not about the smartest person solving problems, it's about someone with common sense navigating a world of chaos. I love that. It's like, in a world of overthinkers, sometimes the simplest solution is the best. And the way Eureka blends humor with sci-fi mishaps. Chef's kiss. It's Twin Peaks meets MacGyver, but with more heart. Of course, we can't talk about this genre without mentioning Rick and Morty. This show is a masterclass in taking the multiverse concept and running wild with it. But here's my take, what really sets it apart is its willingness to go dark. Amidst all the absurdity, like, seriously, the Matrix parody episode is gold, it hits you with these gut-wrenching moments about family and existence. If you take a step back and think about it, Rick and Morty is as much about the human condition as it is about interdimensional cable. That's why it's stuck around for so long. Now, let's get into something a little different, The Last Man on Earth. This show is post-apocalyptic, but it's not all doom and gloom. Will Forte's character, Phil, is such a self-centered goofball that you can't help but laugh at his misadventures. What this really suggests is that even in the end of the world, people are still, well, people. Flawed, funny, and surprisingly resilient. It's a refreshing take on a genre that often takes itself too seriously. And then there's Legends of Tomorrow. This one's a wild ride. It starts as a superhero show, but quickly becomes a sci-fi comedy that's not afraid to get weird. I mean, a giant plush doll saving the day. That's peak absurdity. But what's fascinating is how it never loses sight of its stakes. Even when they are cracking jokes, the fate of reality is still on the line. It's like the show's saying, yeah, the universe is ending, but can't we have a little fun while we are at it? Speaking of fun, the Orville is another one that deserves a shout-out. Seth MacFarlane's live-action comedy is basically Star Trek with a wink and a nudge. But here's what I find fascinating, it's not just a spoof. It actually explores some pretty deep sci-fi concepts, like alternate timelines and time travel, while still keeping things light. It's like MacFarlane saying, let's have our cake and eat it too. And you know what? It works. Now, let's talk about Future Man. This show is a love letter to 80s sci-fi and video game culture. Josh Hutcherson's character, Josh, is this lovable slacker, who's suddenly thrust into saving the world. What makes it stand out is how it plays with tropes. It's not just a time travel story, it's a time travel story with a sense of humor. And the cast. Seth Rogen, Keith David, Haley Joel Osment. They are all having a blast, and it shows. Finally, there's Miracle Workers and Resident Alien. Both of these shows are carried by their ensembles, but in very different ways. Miracle Workers is pure chaos, with Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi delivering some of the most absurd comedy on TV. Meanwhile, Resident Alien is more character-driven, with Alan Tudyk's Alien trying to blend in with humanity. What ties them together is their ability to balance the weird with the heartfelt. That's the secret sauce of these shows. They are not just about the sci-fi, they are about the people, or aliens, in it. So, what's the takeaway here? Personally, I think these shows prove that sci-fi doesn't have to be all serious and brooding. It can be funny, it can be weird, and it can still make you think. Whether it's Stuart fails to save the universe or any of these other gems, they all remind us that the universe is a pretty wild place, and we might as well laugh while we're here. What do you think? Are there any quirky sci-fi comedies you'd add to the list? Let me know in the comments.